What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing today? Hope y'all are doing awesome. Back today with another video just by myself. No Tyson with me again today. It's just a Giants talk, and as most of you have heard, probably everybody in the entire planet has heard, Daniel Jones got benched. Not only did he get benched, he got put all the way down to like third string. He's like, "You're done. You're like, you're no more." You know, he went from starter, he's our guy, to you're done for on a bye week. It's like, how do you get fired on a bye week? How do you get fired on your day off? Anyway, yeah, he got benched. Moved him all the way down to third string. I'm not sure. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I mean, I know a lot of people are probably like, yes, finally they benched him. And some people are like, what'd you do that for, you idiots, you retard, you dummies. And there's two sides of the other. You know, it's kind of like, I don't want to get into politics, but it's like politics. You're either on the left or you're on the right. You can't be in the middle. Well, I'm kind of in the middle on this. It depends on what their motive is for the benching. If it's just, I have a feeling I know what their motive is, but if it's to try and win more games, then I'm for it because I don't want to see the team lose. If they're benching him just so that they can tank and get that number one draft pick, then I'm not a fan of the idea. Because nobody wants to see their team lose. These guys make millions of dollars to go out onto that field and give it their all 100% of the time and win games. Not they don't get paid to lose. Okay, that's not what they're getting paid to do. They're getting paid millions of dollars to go out and win games. So if their motive is to let's tank the season so we can get that number one pick, then I'm not on board with the idea of what they did. Because I mean we were on pace for that anyway. So why take Jones out if we're going to lose the games anyway? So if your plan is to try and get a spark so that we can win some games, win a few to get to end the season on kind of a high note, then I'm on board with it because I want to see the team succeed. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him lose. Anybody that wants to see your team lose should go be a Cowboys fan or something. And as I said before, I think he's just a small piece. I mean, some may argue he's a big piece. Well, he's a piece of the problem pie. He's just one piece of the problem pie. There's a big, huge pie, and he's just one slice of it. Is he a good quarterback? No, not really. But he was one of the few that was actually out there looking like he actually wanted to be there. I mean, was he making good decisions? One may argue no. He's a horrible quarterback. He sucks. He can't throw the ball. He can't run. He can't whatever. That's to be argued. That can be argued back and forth all day long. He was one of the few that actually looked like they actually wanted to be there. Deontay Banks got called out and even admitted, yeah, I haven't been trying very hard. I've been kind of lagging. I've just been not trying very hard. Did he get disciplined? Did he get benched? Nope, sure didn't. So it's more of a you're cutting the guys that you're disciplining the guys that want to be there just because they're not doing good, which I get it. You want to do good. You want your guys to do good, but he at least makes effort and actually you watch the games and he actually is one of the few that's actually trying. He may not be doing good, but he's trying. Some of these other guys, they're not even trying. They're like, whatever, I give up. Those are the guys that need to be benched. They may be good, but those are the guys that need to get benched. The ones that don't want to be here. If that were me, if I was the coach or whatever, and he admitted to not trying, I'd say, all right, you're benched the next game. You're second string next game. I'm sure he wouldn't do that anymore. After they start disciplining, and that's what I think the problem is the number one, the root cause of all this problem is the culture there. Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to try. Nobody wants to win. Nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to. They've had a lot of good big plays get called back because of penalties, stupid penalties. Excuse me. I'm kind of stayed home from work today because I'm not feeling very good. I got like a head cold, so you'll have to bear with me on this. But No, I forgot where I was. Lack of discipline, lack of culture. Their culture is horrible. Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to try. So many plays are getting called back because of penalties, dumb penalties, holdings, and I understand football's football. You're going to get penalties. Nobody's perfect, but false starts, holdings. When I was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers Giants game where Giants had a chance to win, but of course, as a lot of you will say, well, Daniel Jones blew it. Okay, whatever. Daniel Jones blew it. Okay, whatever. But there was line issues like ineligible man downfield. That's a stupid penalty. That's one of them dumb ones that there's illegal formations. Those are dumb penalties. False starts. Those are dumb penalties. Those are penalties. Those are discipline penalties. Holdings kind of are disciplined, but they happen. Holdings happen. Holding, you probably get called for holding every single down. But just dumb things like that, penalties, dumb penalties. Big plays getting called back, receivers. That same game, Neighbors came down. Was it a good pass? It was catchable, and he caught it, but he just didn't get that second foot in bounds. Discipline. You're the receiver. That wasn't Daniel Jones' fault. That was the receiver's fault. It wasn't Daniel Jones' fault that he couldn't get his foot down because it was catchable. And any good receiver, it was Neighbors. One might argue he's good, but any good veteran receiver would have got both feet down in bounds on that play. Any good vet receiver would have got their feet down in bounds. Darius Slayton would have got his feet down in bounds. Any good, reasonably decent veteran receiver would have got their foot down in bounds on that. Would have been a touchdown. Panthers game. Yeah, Daniel Jones, he got us there. He's the reason why we were in overtime, why we were put in that position. He's the one that missed that field goal that could have been the difference. He's the one that missed that field goal early but Tracy fumbled on that first drive. A lot of people are like, well, if Daniel Jones wouldn't have put us in that situation. There was a lot of other issues that could have put us in that situation. It wasn't Daniel Jones. Like I said, Graham Gano missed a field goal. If he'd have made that field goal, that would have been the difference. We wouldn't have gone to overtime. There's multiple factors. Is Daniel Jones great? No, he's not. Is he the best? No, he's not. Does he try? Was he one of the few that actually tried? Yes, he was. And I don't like necessarily how they're just like kicking him to the curb. He's been there 6 years. He's put forth 6 years worth of effort. I mean, it's, you need to be rewarded on your effort. You need to be, it's not just about, are you good? I mean, it is a business and you're there to make money. You're there to win games. I totally get that. But he's put his heart and soul into this team and they haven't really, I like to say they ruined him. He didn't ruin the team. The team was already bad before he got there. They ruined him. And the reason I say that is he had potential. When he came out of college, yeah, he may not have been, again, when they drafted him, I was like, what? Who the heck is Daniel Jones? I was expecting them to draft like Dwayne Haskins or something. When it came up to number 6, I was watching it. Giants select Daniel Jones. I was like, who the heck is Daniel Jones? So I feel you. Daniel Jones, it's like, who is he? Is he that good? Excuse me. Sorry about that. Again, cold, sore throat. I'm trying. But, yeah. But he put his heart and soul into this. And since 2015, the team has had 5 different coaches. 4 full-time head coaches, but 5 if you count Spagnuolo, who was an interim coach for 4 games or something like that, 4 or 5 games. So they've had 4 coaches in 10 years. That's a lot. Since 2015, when what's his bucket, Tom Coughlin left, they've had 4 different coaches. 4. That's hard on, and he wasn't there for all of them. He was there for probably 3 of them at least, but that's hard for a developing quarterback that's not the best. He's not the best quarterback. We can all agree on that. I guarantee we can all agree that he's not the best quarterback. We can definitely agree on that. But to have three different coaches come in, that's hard for a developing quarterback that you're trying to get developed. And he starts learning this coach's play style. Then a new one comes in. Now he's got to try and develop it to that coach, and then he's got to try and develop this. You're doing this. You're going up and down and up and down and back and forward and back, and it's not getting anywhere. It won't get you anywhere. And you can compare it to some of these other mediocre-ish quarterbacks. Look at Sam Darnold. Jets, he was nothing. Panthers, he started, but they sucked. He went to the 49ers as a backup, and then he went to Minnesota supposedly as a backup, but now he's ending up starting, and he's actually doing pretty good. And these other teams he left aren't. Even with Aaron Rodgers, the Jets aren't doing very good. Even with Bryce Young, they went out and did that same thing we're trying to do. We want to draft that franchise quarterback. Well, they did it. They picked Bryce Young on their first pick. How are they doing? Well, they beat us, so they're obviously doing better than we are. But seriously, though, they went out. They did the same thing we're trying to do. We're benching our quarterback. We're cutting our quarterback. We're going after that number one draft quarterback. We're going after Bryce Young. We're doing it. What's that gotten them? What's that going to get the Giants if we go out and get that number one draft pick quarterback? I don't think it's going to do anything. Look at the Bears. They went out. They even picked up a lot of good offensive weapons for the guy. They got DJ Moore last year. They picked up Keenan Allen. They picked up DeAndre Swift. They got Cole Kmet. They got a good solid team behind them. And then they go out and they get that number one pick, Caleb Williams. All the hype. And look where they're at. They're still not that great. They're still not doing very good. So it's not. You've got to find the root cause of the problem before you just fix one little piece. I mean, the Bears fixed a few pieces, and they're still the Bears. They're still not what they were expected to be when the season first started. And yeah, Daniel Jones, I don't agree I do agree with a lot of you that, yeah, he's way overpaid. That $160 million contract for 4 years, it was high. That was high for him, for his level. Yeah, he led them to the playoffs the first year that they were there and kind of earned, some respect, but was he worth that much? No. But the team made that contract. He didn't. He didn't write the contract. The team did. All he did was signed it. And just kind of the way they're just like kicking him to the curb is not cool. I mean, it's not cool. And then they're dropping him down to the third string as an emergency back, so that they don't have to pay him $23 million if he gets hurt. That's kind of chicken shit, if you pardon my French. If kids are watching, that's chicken shit of you. And I get it. They're trying to save. It is a business. It's about money. I get it. And it was probably a business decision why they did that for the money. I think they're just trying to right the wrong of signing the big contract. They're trying to right their wrong because they realize that, hey, we paid this guy too much. Everybody knew that. I'm kind of a fan of Daniel Jones. I know he's not the best, but do I think he's worth that much money? No, he's not worth that much money. They spent way too much money on him. Could they have spent a little less on him and paid Saquon Barkley? Yes, they could have. But I think they're just trying to. I think it's just a desperation move to right the wrong of, for one, the high contract. Well, if we bench him, put him on third string, he won't get hurt, and you won't have to pay out that $23 million. I think that's a big business decision. I think it's a desperation move, and to also try and right the wrong of letting Saquon Barkley walk away. I don't think he wanted to be there. I don't think Saquon Barkley left because of the money. I mean, yeah, he wanted to get paid. It was time to get paid, and the Giants kept putting it off. They kept wanting to franchise. They kept, and Saquon wanted a long-term deal, and he would have signed a long-term deal with us. But I think it was just the fact that they just kept putting it off and 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 signed Daniel Jones that big, huge contract. And he just got to the point where, okay, I'm out. And he wanted to go because of that culture that they had and because of that. Because he went to the Eagles for the same amount of money that we were offering him on that franchise tag. He just didn't want another franchise tag. He wanted a long-term deal, and the Giants were just beating around the bush. They were beating around the bush. They didn't want to sign him. They didn't want to sign him to that big old deal, and the money they were offering him wasn't enough for him to stay. And then he went to the Eagles, and they offered him the same amount, and he's there, and he's doing good. And I'm wearing his jersey today. Got out his jersey because, he was probably my favorite player when he was on the team. He's still one of my favorite players in the NFL. I have players that I like and I'm rooting for him. I'm not rooting for the Eagles, but I'm rooting for him. I want to see him succeed because he was above average with the Giants. He was hurt a lot because our poor offensive line. He was hurt a lot, just like everybody on our team. They're hurt a lot because and he was mediocre. He wasn't mediocre. He was above average. But he wasn't elite like he is with the Eagles. He's an elite running back. He's one of, if not the best running backs in the league now that he's on a good team with a good line, with a good culture, with a good supporting cast, with good coaches, with good ownership, with good discipline, with good, he's an elite quarterback. One of, if not the best out there. When he was here, he was above average. He was the best thing we had, and he was above average. At best, he was above average. He was good. I liked him. He's, like I said, my favorite player. I'm supportive of him. But I think that they're just a desperation move to, for one, save their jobs. Daboll and Joe Schoen. They're trying to save their jobs. They're trying to save face on letting Saquon go. So they're going to bench Jones. They're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to try and rebuild the team. They're going to do what they can. I know they can. They did it with the Bills. They were able to. But you need to set your culture first. You need to lay down some ground rules with the team. You need to say, hey, you know what? We're going to start holding each other accountable for this problems. You give up a big, you have a stupid penalty that brings back a touchdown. You're grounded. You're not starting next game, or you're benched for the next series, or whatever. Fine them. Whatever you got to do. I don't. But anyway, I'm not a Daniel Jones hater. Is he the best? No. He's not the best. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. He could have been, though. I think, like I said, with the right coaching staff, if we'd have had a good, solid foundation of coaches, like if he would have went to the Steelers, they've had Tomlin there for years and years. If he'd have went to the Ravens, say the Ravens were looking for a quarterback, Lamar Jackson wanted out or wanted to go, or they traded, and they would have drafted him. They drafted Lamar Jackson 1 year after they traded Daniel Jones. If they'd have waited, didn't draft, if somebody else would have picked up Lamar Jackson and they would have picked up Daniel Jones would be a lot better quarterback than he is today. A lot better quarterback than he is today. Period. End of story. If the Steelers would have picked him up instead of waiting for whatever they did, whatever, it don't matter. If the Steelers would have picked him up, he'd have been a lot better quarterback. If the Chiefs didn't have Mahomes, or Mahomes was quitting or leaving or whatever, and he went there, he'd have been a lot better quarterback. Just because of the core foundation and the core culture and the discipline that they have there, Daniel Jones would have been a lot better quarterback. Period. End of story. But he went to the Giants and they ruined him. And now they're screwing him over by just kicking him to the curb, and just so we don't have to pay you that $23 million. Anyway, video's getting a little long. That's my take. They benched him. I know a lot of you are happy for that. I'm on the fence on it. If they're doing it for the right reason, I'm there. I'm not too happy about all the details of it, of just kind of how they Daniel Jonesed him. They kind of, it's going to be my new term if, they're Daniel Jonesing him. How they brought him in. All these different coaches on a young, developing quarterback that's not the best to begin with. Bringing in all these different coaches and all these different staffs and, not getting him a good, solid foundation to work on. He had weapons. He had, I don't know if he had Barkley or Beckham, but he had, he's had weapons. but it's the solid foundation. There's more parts to there's a whole big old problem pie, and he's just a single slice of it. That's what it is. Anyway, I apologize for all the coughing again. I've had cold. I wouldn't be doing this video right now if I was fine because I'd be at work. I just called in sick from work today. I'm all medicated up, just trying to, so I don't snivel and sneeze too much. I got all medicated. But anyway, again, I know everybody has mixed feelings on this. I want to see the team succeed. I do. And in some ways, I want to see Daniel Jones succeed too. I'm not rooting against the Giants, but I hope Daniel Jones finds a new team that he can succeed on. And just at least one game, he comes back to the Giants on that other team and just destroys them. Just destroys the Giants in Giant Stadium. I just hope he comes back, goes to another team, finds a starting job, gets to come back to New York to play against them, and just destroys them. 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, whatever. I hope he does to us what Barkley did to us. Just for one game. I'm rooting for the Giants. I'm always a Giants fan. I'm not going to just root against them, but just for one game, I just hope he comes and just demolishes us like Barkley did. Just saying. Just out of spite, for teach you to treat me that way. I'm better than you guys thought. You guys didn't. You guys, See, the good thing with Saquon is he got out of there before they totally ruined his career. And hopefully Daniel Jones can find a new home that will use him. And, because like I said, I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater of Daniel Jones. I saw his potential. There's a reason why he got the nickname Danny Dimes. He was good. He had potential. But anyway, video's getting long. Apologize. Starting to ramble. I could ramble about football and this kind of thing all day long. So I'll end it here. Be sure you subscribe. Hit the bell. Hit the bell icon. We're kind of a new channel. Me and Tyson, you'll see some other videos. We cover each week a little bit. We're starting to get better. We're trying to get to that 50 subscribers so we can do live. But we're usually we record it Saturday and then I have to really quick post it Sunday morning or before Sunday, or we'll do it Friday night and I have to hurry and edit it all, and it makes it tough. If we were doing live, it would be so much easier, but we just do a little analysis on the previous week's picks, and then we make our picks for this week and kind of talk a little bit about it. And so join us for that. Appreciate you. Hit the subscribe, the notification bell. Also do football card openings on this channel. I've got other channels. I can leave links to them below if you want, but we do football card openings. We'll buy a box of football cards and we'll open up the packs. We do some of that. Haven't done any of those in a while. I've got a bunch of videos that were kind of archived that I'm kind of put on there. Old videos of old boxes of cards that I've bought, but we're working on it. End of the year, we got some big plans at the end of the year. First of 25. But anyway, and we'll go over that here in a minute or on a later video just before the end of the year. Right now it's still mid-November, so we still got a little bit, but again, starting to ramble again. Just hit the subscribe, the like, comment, the drill. Hit the notification bell so you catch our next episode, and we'll see you in the next one.